All right. Hey, how are you? I'm wondering, have you seen a beautiful lawyer today? If you've not seen one, then you are welcome to my channel. Today, you are going to spend the next 10 minutes or thereabouts with me, so you can be looking at my face and my lips and my mouth while you learn about Nigerian law. Today, we're going to be talking about matters of inheritance. And it's a sad reality that we've come to deal with right now in Nigeria, that in 2023, regardless of all the judicial pronouncements that judges have been giving from all sorts of trial courts up to the Supreme Court, asking Nigerians to please stop discriminating against women on account of their gender. Stop discriminating against people because of their gender. But up to today, we have not heard. Till today, it is very, very possible for you to hear. And yes, we have heard it from northern Nigeria to the south, from east to the west. Mrs. So and so's husband died. He left property, but she cannot inherit the property. Why? Because our culture said this. Our culture said that. So today I want to talk about the position of the Nigerian law and then juxtapose it with the position of Nigeria's customary law on matters of inheritance as it relates to women. So now let me start from our cultural laws. Yes, our practices, our customary laws as we practiced them before the white man came. Now, I've said it before in another video. Here, you can see it here at the end of the video. I'll also put it, I'll drop the link in the description box. About how our marriages were before the white man came with his own Western style marriage. Before now, truth be told, let's be honest with ourselves, women basically had no rights, or in any situations where they had rights, they had very limited rights. As a matter of fact, in most cultures, women were considered to be chattel. They were part of the property that is owned by the husband and could be inherited. Just the way a man would inherit a goat or a chicken, women were typically within that right. And they had no rights whatsoever. Okay? And like I said, only in some circumstances where women had limited rights. So even when a woman has children, the children are not hers. She has no rights over them. When a woman owns a piece of property, it is considered that both her and the property even belong to the man she is married to. And marriage, essentially, pre-colonial times, was a sort of fanciful transfer of ownership, let me use it that way, from the girl's father to her husband, until the white man came. And then something happened in Nigeria on the 1st of Nigeria 1900, okay? Sorry, on the 1st of January 1900, something we call the Received English Law entered Nigeria. And under the provisions of the Received English Law, that is to say that the white man has started practicing his law in Nigeria. We did not technically receive it. Somebody else received it on our behalf. It said that the common law of England, the doctrines of equity, and the statutes of general application that were in force in England as of 1st of January 1900 shall become applicable to Nigeria. That is to say, the laws that were applicable in England now become applicable to Nigeria by virtue of the fact that England is our colonial masters. So their laws become applicable. What now happens to the laws that were in place? Because it's not like our ancestors were just walking on the street like that. No laws guiding them. They had their laws. So what happened to those laws that guided our behavior before the coming of the white man? Good. There are three tests. So the way it played out is like this. That those customary laws and then the Received English Law were supposed to apply hand in hand. But for any customary law to take effect, there are three tests that it must undergo. Number one, the repugnancy test. And what is that repugnancy test? It basically provides that for any law that is a native law and custom to take effect, it must pass that repugnancy test. That is to show that that test is not repugnant to natural justice, equity, and good conscience. Okay? In other words, that law must not be unfair. That law must not unduly take advantage of another person. And this is where most of our native laws and customs then began to crash. The other thing is that was the compatibility test. That is to say that that customary law must not be incompatible with a law under the Received English Law. So if there is any situation where there's a conflict between the law of the white man and the law of native law and custom, the law of the white man is going to take supremacy, is going to take effect, so to speak. So these were the two tests that that all our native laws had to pass. Let's come to matters of inheritance. on several occasions, right from the days when we had native customs, native courts and co. Judges have held that any law that prevents women from inheriting in their father's house or in their husband's hands is a law that is repugnant to natural justice, equity, and good conscience. Therefore, most of these laws fell under the repugnancy test, and yes, they crashed there. But let's forward it until Justice Nikki Toby held in the case of, today you are going to listen to some law, right? In the case of, I think it's Mojeku against Mojeku. This is the citation. You can see the citation on the screen if you want to go and do more research. So you will go and read up this case. It's on the internet. I will also put a link to it in the description box. That is the first locus classicus. That is, it became the reference point for any matter that had to do with inheritance. In that case, it was a man who died and he had 4 daughters. And according to the Nnewi custom, Olekwe custom of the Nnewi people of southeastern Nigeria, that women are not allowed to inherit. Therefore, the man's brothers were going to come and inherit the man's property at the expense of his wife and his daughters. Justice Nikki Toby held very, very clearly there that Olekwe custom is repugnant to natural justice, equity, and good conscience. Several courts have followed in that line and have said that any law whatsoever that can be interpreted to be discriminatory to women, to prevent women from inheriting both in their father's house and in their husband's houses, is repugnant to natural justice, equity, and good conscience. So that law is void to the extent of its inconsistency. There are several variants of these kinds of law all over Nigeria, and the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court have given judgment against these kinds of laws. In 2018, the Supreme Court gave another judgment against UKJ and UKJ again. This time around, it was a third cousin or thereabouts of a man who had passed on that came to say that he is the one who should inherit the property of his late cousin, third cousin, at the expense of the wife and children. So now this is the position of the law as it stands right now. There are going to be several decided cases that I will put for you in the description box. Go and check them out. But I also understand that it is not easy to legislate a custom. You don't just wake up one day and tell people that this is something your great-grandfather has done, my great-grandmother did it, my great-grand did, and the heavens did not fall. Therefore, there's nothing wrong with it. My brother, my sister, everything is wrong with any form of culture that discriminates against others. Okay? Whether it is the discrimination on grounds of ethnicity or circumstances of birth, and I think I'm going to do another special video on how we discriminate against people based on the circumstances of their birth. If you are interested in that, tell me in the comment section, okay? So now, if you are married, you are a woman, these things typically affect women. So if you are married and maybe you have daughters and you know that there are people that are looking at your husband's property, looking at you and like, hey, this one is working hard for me, what should you do? How can you protect yourself so that in the event that anybody wakes up and tells you this, I have made a video that you should try and marry your husband under the act. Go and marry him in court, okay? The second thing you can do is you can get your husband while he's still alive and he has anything that he wants people to inherit. Let him make sure that the gifts will take place inter vivos. He should draw up a will, get a good lawyer to draw up a will for you, link in the comment section again. Then whatever gifts he has for you should be gifts that will take effect inter vivos, meaning in the lifetime of the testator. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? And then most importantly, what you need to do is to make sure that if you are married under the act, then what is going to happen is that the courts are going to come in and take possession of whatever it is your husband had. And then more importantly, the law is what is going to give you protection. I hope I have made this point clear to you, okay? So if you are listening to me, you are a man, please, it is wrong, it is unlawful to discriminate against anybody, to come from somewhere and demand that you want to take inheritance for something that you know you should not take inheritance of. Do you understand me? Thank you very, very much for listening to me to this point. If you have any question, the comment section is open. I am going to answer everybody as always. And remember to like this video, because that will help with the algorithm. It's going to spread this video to as many people as need to hear it. I always tell people that these cultures were made for us. We are not the ones who were made for culture. And if culture is not working for us, we have a responsibility to change that culture so that it works for us. Discrimination against women has not taken anybody anywhere worthwhile in this life. So let us stop it. There was a time we were killing twins in Nigeria, and today we do not kill twins. Why? Because of culture. Because we are the ones who decided it is not good and we stopped it. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Thank you very much for staying with me till the end. I hope I'm still beautiful enough for you today. Thank you so much. I will see you all in my next video. Please have a nice day. Bye.